Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good evening. Look at that beautiful painting we have today. Now there are many things going on here. First of all, it's a very graceful posture. There's so many elements which you need to keep in mind. Well, forget about the sea because obviously that's the background, but look at the transparency of her dress and the body, the inside of that. You see the body here, which we can all see how it goes, and that dark part here is where it's actually the body is touching the veil or the dress. A beautiful turn of her hand here, really delicate and beautiful. And then these are key elements here. That corner, very important. That corner here. Then another one here which is not that visible, which it gives the indication it's not that important. But then this one, so this one here and that, these are anchor points, one and then here. All those corners are extremely important. Have chin, shoulder, hand, and corners here, and the gestural drawing. So let's go about it. And that, as I said, that beautiful transparency, how to achieve that. It's difficult, but it's doable. Okay, but first of all, let's see, where do we have the drawing from top to bottom? Top, bottom. So head, feet, and then the shadow of the feet will be spread over here. There you have it. Now, before we do anything, let's get the gesture. Gesture. You have top of the head. Then as it moves down, you have the chin, up again, neck, and then that right line, straight line. So a straight line like this, which just actually gives us, it goes right up to this anchor line that I said earlier on her shoulder. The artist is a Spanish artist. I think it's Antonio Rimeres. I am not sure. I'll check it out and I'll tell you later on at the break time. It's a really good artist, and beautiful paintings he does. So there you have the shoulder here, moving inwards and then moving right up there, and that is her hand here. As I said, these are anchor lines. One, chin, straight line from the head down, shoulder here, and as it moves inwards, the body, and then from that line, from the shoulder there, you have the elbow, and then straight to the, as I said, to the corner of her hand here. Now, that moves forward a bit. As you have the head coming inwards, a vertical line from the corner, from her wrist upwards, that brings us here. So we are okay at this point. Then everything, the dress moves there. It's transparent dress. Up here is that fold. Second fold moves down, and then it moves down. That fold, that also moves down here. And then you have her bum coming right here, and that's the part of the shadow, as I said earlier on. Shadow. Actually, if you squint your eyes, you will see that it's actually, she's very thin here. Belly, back, breast. It's actually, if you squint your eyes, you will see that all that is just a shadow, really. All the shadow which suggests part of her turn of her spine, and then her bottom, it's at the same vertical line as her shoulder is, so I could bring the bottom a bit further back. Shoulder vertical line, so here, and her thigh straight down here. And finally the foot, well, the shin and her heel here, which is further back to her bum. It's just with a vertical line. This is one of the best ways to check where you are. Look, for instance, from the hair, drop it down, 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 down. So the hair is a vertical line will get you the heel is inside of that vertical line from the hair down. So if I take from the hair down, vertical line, and that makes me the heel somewhere here. Here. Not at the line, just a bit further in. That's a heel. But then what do we have? We have the shin here. There you have it. Shin, 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 shin. And the thickness of the heel, because obviously it's not too thin, it's a bit thicker than that. I mean the bone structure of the heel, the shin, obviously. And further down the heel, as I said here, and possibly move the dress a bit further up, so to give her a bit more length. There we are. Shin, front shin, and the shin here, and the knee cup. Knee cup. There you are, and a bit of shadow there, which is actually the shadow of the knee cup here. Down, there we are. And everything is just blurred, so everything here, to get to that transparency of a dress, best thing to do is to darken it first and give it a dark tone. And you see that I'm following some patterns here, which is we're sorry for that, which is basically the folds. Her bum, as I said, is down here, back there. Then you have the shoulder, and you have the elbow, which, as I said, is not quite that visible, so I'll leave it into kind of misty look there. It's just merged. And you have her bum, as I said, here. And as I said, that part of her bottom is darker, which is this area here. Moving into the dress, and then transparency of her dress. It's actually, if you squint your eyes, you will barely see it. It's there. It's barely there. It's actually almost as value is the same as the C. So I don't want to do too much to it, because if that's the C, see, if that's the value of the C, and that's as bright as the C here, my page, there's no point of darkening that, because that's the same value as the C. So that's the same value as the C. We can work on some folds, but then not only really much more there, and bring the fold. See, that fold gets inside her, it touches almost the flesh tone here, so the fold gets inside here, and I'm talking about that flesh tone here. There we are. And fold here. Fold, fold. And then fold here. That's good. So far, that looks simple to follow. We have the bone structure here, shin. It's actually not straight. It's like an inward line like this. It's not a straight line. It's inside. So it's more this way. And then what I need to get here is the shadow or the darkness of that. Flesh is darker than the dress, so we better darken that. We don't see the foot, obviously. We just see the heel here. Revealed here. And the water here. Okay, so far, okay. Now a little bit, I can see the squint in my eyes, I can see the breast, or the value of the breast, or that line of the breast is pretty much parallel with the shoulder here. So the value of the breast is pretty much parallel with the shoulder. There you go. Then the middle of the breast here, further out, a bit more of that. So I'm talking about this little triangular shape here. And then, as I said, that line and this, they're pretty much parallel. And that's what I'm doing here. And then you have the width of the hand coming right down here. It's almost revealing her nipple right here. Then you have a vertical line from her lips or nose goes right to the nipple. Say the nipple is here. That's where the nose will be. The nose appears to be a straight line. Look here, straight line. And then you have a chin. Now those previous measurements that I've done, that doesn't mean that I will leave the chin at that point, but I will start developing it here. And if I see that it's a little bit too thin or too small, so on that previous line that I've done from the beginning here, I'll do it here. And it seems okay, probably a little bit low, and probably a little bit the head is too big for the body, but I will do it as I see it for the time being, and then I'll come back later on and check it. But before I do the chin, before I do everything or anything else, why not give it a darker tone to the whole of the figure? That's a better bet. See, I'm not risking too much by darkening this, because you see, by darkening that, you tend to see the silhouette of the figure. So by darkening the inside of the figure, you start seeing the silhouette here. There you go. So by doing the silhouette, it will be probably easier to judge where I'm going with all the elements that I'm slowly putting in. By darkening that, you see more. By darkening the inside, flesh, the value of the face, the value of the body, so you see more of where you're going. If you're going on the right direction or not. Nose, cute nose, big nose, upwards. Then hair. Now I can be a little bit more specific here. Let's say darken a little bit lips, as we see they're darker. Upper lip, lower lip. Neck. And the eyes are looking down. Down. Hair is just above the eye. Hair here. Then you have the ear right here, and the darkness of her hair. Dark, 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 dark. Then the hair is curled, curly. Now, how do you treat curly hair? Okay, well, first of all, what do we see? We see a very dark line or very dark value here, which is from top to bottom here. But it's not only a straight line. No, it's not a line like that only. I would use it like this. A vertical line down, an angular line down. There you are. And moving down this way. So the shoulder, you see, there's a very beautiful dynamic here. Her shoulder is moving back because she's moving. She's so relaxed that it's almost like it looks like two parts of the body. It's obviously the same body, but what I mean, have the upper part of the body moving that way, the lower part of the body moving that way. So it creates a thrust, a dynamic here, which, just 1 second, because I'm just almost dropping my colors here. Take that off. Almost the paint went onto the drawing, almost. Very lucky. Okay, so that's stable now. Okay, we got the paint is saved and the drawing is saved. Now charcoal, where's the charcoal? Okay, so again, a very dark line or dark value from the hair down and hair here. Let's see, yeah, just to add and do the curl that I see here. And the thrust, as I said, look, the thrust of the body, upper body moving that way, lower body that way, so creates that V shape here. And you have also another beautiful V shape appearing to be here. Look here, shoulder moving that way. If that line extends, just moves and creates that dynamic here so what I'm saying is here, that line moving upwards, and it just, if that's extended, it just touches touches her chin. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. And that's another line moving inwards, and then you have the neck, softer here and darker here, dark, all of that. Now, of course, it's not as dark here because that's the C in between her chin. That's the C. Okay. Now, that part of her chest, this one, there's no line there. You see, it becomes one with the C. So, why not do the same what we see? Why not repeat that? So that part here becomes one with the C. So if in our drawing, the color of the paper, it's the C, then we leave it as it is. There's no need to put a line there. Okay. Dark hair here. Cute nose and the lips at the front. And a little bit of dark value. Eyes, and give her a little bit of that beautiful hair moving up, and but always check vertical lines. Look, so that little hair just jumping up at the top is right here under her eye. There. And as I have that shine or that light which becomes one with the sea here, I can do the same here. Right there. You see here? At the top of her hair, there is no line. It becomes one with the sky, basically. Hair moving here. Curls appearing to be right here. Here. And what can I emphasize a bit more here is that chin underneath it. Look, that little, jaw, not chin. Well, that becomes chin, apparently. That goes back there, becomes chin, but jaw. I'll put the jaw there, okay? Now, to progress, before we progress any further, why not check now? Because now we have the image, we have the figure almost complete in its entirety, from top to bottom, width. Why not check now where is the middle of the whole figure? The middle of the whole figure, and that should correspond, what I see in the picture should correspond the same to us here. So it should be, it's roughly here. So it's in between her lower arm. From, okay, let me measure it with a brush. So from roughly here, where you don't see the end of the foot because it's inside the water, so from that part to the wrist, move it upwards. No, yeah, somewhere here. Part of the wrist here. Middle, that's where the middle is. That's where the middle of the figure is. Bottom of the foot to lower than the middle of the wrist here. So that should be the same on us here. So from that, wow, almost exact. So from here, checking with my finger. See the finger extends there, just moving there. 1, 2, 1. So we're okay then with the middle. We've done correctly. So everything matches. Now the next thing to do is, as I darken at the top, time to darken here on the wrist. And the hand inside. Leave the brush down and get the beautiful gesture moving inwards like this, and nipple, then you have this half tone on her breast, and then you have that reflected light on her flesh tone here. Look, I'm talking about this one. So actually, if you squint your eyes, you will see that line and that line. That is not as bright as that. It's brighter, but it's brighter than this part. That's reflected light from her hand back on her breast. but still it's not as bright as that. So those two lines here, a little bit softer than that dark, and then, as I said, keep that light here. And there you are. Okay. A little bit darker here on the hand, and also that dark, as I said, that dark upper arm, it's a lot darker than the reflected light on the breast. So let's get that going. That's a good dark, but also it creates a little bit of a stiffness there. So with a paper towel, chamois is even better, but most of you don't have chamois, so a paper towel. And look, you can still do a good job with a paper towel. See? That is the reflected light here. Any paper towel will do, or tissue. See, and then reflect that. Do you see that highlight here in the middle? Do you remember when we've done the cylinder? This is the top of the cylinder, or the upper part of the cylinder, where everything shines. It's because it's reflected light. And that beautiful violet string here. It's brighter than the hand. Look at the string. Look at that beautiful turn here of this rope. I don't know how to call it, but you know, it's part of the dress. It's brighter than the flesh tone. So let's locate that where it is to start with. It's here. And it's brighter than the flesh tone. So everything around that is darker. And dark at the top here. Now, did you notice one thing here? Look at that. Now, the cast shadow of the body, it's upon this arm, and it creates that shadow here, you see? So this is the point, that the shadow of the body goes up on the top of the arm, but then this part, this particular part, it's still the hand, but it's being lit by the light. So it's still the same thickness from top to bottom, but because you have the light coming from the sun, it creates the illusion of being thinner than that part. Well, it is going to get thinner, of course, because it's getting closer to the hand, but it's not that thin, or not as what's the word? Steep or immediate as it is as it appears to be here. Now with a little bit of brush here, and take some dust with a brush. Any brush will do, really. It's a bit of a big brush for me here, but they say when you need a brush, or you think you need this particular brush, go and take a bigger brush than that. Make you braver. There you are. And moving those darks inwards, and somehow connecting those darks together like this. We're getting that dark flesh tone to start with, and then a bit more blacks on the brush, which is basically the charcoal. The dust from the charcoal. Maybe down here. Now that I have those darks, I can be a little bit more specific But before I do that, I better trim this. Now, do you remember how we do that? Some of you might not, might be beginners. So, not on my group, but the ones who see or watch the channel. Take some dust, sandpaper, medium, part of the medium, just cut it with scissors, make it small pieces like that, and then use the softly creating this dust here, and that is very, very useful. Keep it here. Just at any point I can use that with the brush that I showed you earlier on, or a different size brush. Let me see. Different size brush. Some brushes are completely done here. It's because I haven't cleaned them. And what I mean by done, that means that they've gone too hard, so I cannot use them anymore. Oh, what's that on the brush? Color. Oh, okay. Now with this brush, take some dust, and it's not really sticking, is it? No, it's not. It's falling off. It's not working. Okay, back to the charcoal, and I can use that. Go a bit darker. Dark on the hair. Create those curls a bit more. Emphasize the curls. Now if I lower, the more I lower the hair, the longer neck I create. So let's be aware here. And what do I mean by that? Okay, the lower I come down here, see, the longer neck I'm making on the girl, so the more delicate she appears to be. And ear, half, it's appearing half of it here, so you better be careful and not do too much, because it's just part of the shadow really to start with. So let's not give too much attention to the ear. I need to create that cheekbone, a bit more cheekbone on her. So using the putty rubber, using my fingers, that's good enough. And what I next need to do is to darken, first of all that part here. Why I left it without going as dark as that? I should have gone straight away. Okay, and dark here as well. And from flicker, dark like this, and give her, she's looking low, and also dark here. And possibly raise her ear a bit more. Getting darker here, darker with the hair here, and giving her a little bit more. See, bring the collarbone here, make it a little bit more visible. Collarbone, hair coming that way, bone structure here. And those beautiful curls around here. And just with your fingers, that will get rid of the lines, strong lines, and make it look a little bit more fluffy, more natural. Okay, now re-emphasizing the breast here, or the shine on the breast and the arm. Darker, 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 darker. Going darker also on the nipple here, on the dress, where that sharp edge that I can see here, and also a little bit more of these folds that I can see. Talking about these two, and the thickness of the. Now where that is, let me see how far down that is. So I'm talking from the nipple to the chin. It looks to me like that distance the same as from there to the top of the head. It gives the impression that's the case. Let's see that. No. So chin to the nipple, it's way lower than the whole of head. So look at that. From chin to the top of the hair, it's way lower than that. It's there. So chin to the top of the head. Okay, so that means I could go a little bit further up with that ribbon here. There. Then the folds that I have here, and the thickness of her hand here. I could go a little bit darker as well. The whole thing could go darker. All that. There we are. And just brighten up the ribbon. Maybe a little bit pump it up artificially here. I know it's not as bright as that, but I like it, looks good. And before I do anything, why not apply some more darks with another brush? Take some dark from the charcoal here. And then move it inside her dress. Why not? That looks good. Creates a very nice texture here. And take the folds and move them down. See how I'm using the brush? Vertically. But you could use it with downwards movements like this. Why not? I could. And also I'm following the folds. So could give different movements of the brush, can you? Of course you can. And re-emphasize it a bit more. You know, the folds, although I've done them a lot darker, but better darker because I can brighten up them easily. Then you have these beautiful, again, folds appearing here. And that beautiful highlight, look at that, around here. It's there. But this fold, emphasize that highlight. So that straight line down here, that makes the highlight a lot stronger here. And a nice transparent light here. There you are. Get more dust. Again, I'm going a lot darker here, but you don't have to do that. You can just do what you see in here. Bit darker the whole thing here. for the dress. Okay. Leave the brush. Getting a little bit disentangled here with that hand to make it a little bit more visible. A brighter highlight on the top of her hand, as we said, to emphasize this. Emphasize a little bit more the middle of the breast here. Then top of the dress here. Folds here. And the folds here. See? Highlight here, and then highlights right here. Look at that. Oh, before I do that, it's nice to do these red lines around all her dress. See, they're red there, but we cannot do them in red. We just draw them. I mean, you can do them in red, and what that means is you can use red color, but I would not advise it. Otherwise, you have to color the whole thing. Okay, so let's go. The ribbon follows this way. Follows that here. And is further up. And a little bit of that. The dress moves inwards, so I better do that. Let's say this one here, that movement here. There. And use the folds down here. There you are. Folds here. And see those? So what I'm actually doing, I just broke that area here with those highlights. Because actually it's there, look. And what I mean is that you see the dress just enters the bum area. So it's very blurred, the situation that you don't, you know where it is, but you don't actually, you cannot put a finger to it's exactly there or it's exactly here. So it's in between. Okay, and a little bit more highlights here. The cute nose, moving upwards, upper lip, chin, a little bit softer here, soft, so the chin becomes part of the background of the sea. A soft touch, softly there, just moving all that, top of the nose, under the eye, that light under the eye, and the cheekbone, and the highlight here on her neck, and of course a little bit more, let's say ear, the lower part of the ear at least, and ribbon here. Oh, that highlight is beautiful here. Look at that. These are anchor. I call them anchor, as the anchor of the boat. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but you know what I mean. The boat. You throw an anchor so the boat doesn't drifts around. It's not drifting around. So those highlights are anchor to me, and to you they should be. They create their guideline. Things that you need to keep in mind and not to look over. Just highlight here on the shoulder. Now that bone structure is going to be too dark on me. I'm showing you that is going way too dark on me. So, talking about this. There you are. Okay, I'll have a break and I'll continue later on. See you. All right, again. Now, few more changes we need to do here. First of all, to come and do during the day, now is the video. Yesterday was during the night. So get some more darks here on the flesh. So see, working with the value, tonal value. Dark tonal value on the feet and shin. A little bit darker here. I went too dark on that fold, but also continue with the darks on here, wherever the the flesh tone touches the dress. Bit more bended. See that bend coming there? That's what to look at. And possibly with a straight line coming right down here, getting the thigh right down to the thigh and the folds here, darkening the folds a bit more. And I'm thinking of, I should raise a little bit those red lines here on the dress. Those red lines, they're beautiful, but they have to follow the folds, how they appear to be here. Here, there, and then another dark line down here, and there, and here as well, and lines here. There you have it. And with a brush, going back to the dust, take the dust, move it there, make it a little bit further out here, get that half tone here on her dress. And give it a little bit of a darker tone to the folds and the fluffiness of her dress, the transparency. That's the most beautiful thing here, how to get that transparency. And as you can see, one of the ways is to use brush. If you don't have that, then paper towel would do. Do you remember that? So paper towel will get some more darks with that. So take the dust from the charcoal and spread it here. There. I could go over a little bit onto the background. Creates a nice atmosphere here, but not too much, just a tiny bit. And getting back to her dress, and it's actually a straight line here, you see, look at that, because I've gone a little bit inwards. So let's do that straight line right down here, there, straight down here. Okay. I think best thing to do at this point, because it's not responding to more darks that I'm putting on, so best thing to do is to spray it. But before I spray it and before you spray the drawing, you make sure you have the lights that you want on the face. See, the eyes, if you see here, see the eyes are part of a very, very dark shadow. So unless you look for it, you won't see the eyes or the lips. You just see the profile. So this is what I mean by saying that do not darken them too much. Do not be specific on eyes and lips. They're part of a darker shadow. So I'm giving a darker tone. There you are. Okay, a bit more chin, a bit more pointed. No, that was too pointed. Softly with your fingers. And another thing I could do here, I'm tempted to do, but I'm not sure. Maybe we'll go too dark, but it's up to us. Well, a bit of waves here in the end. Huh? So those darks here with, see? Oh, that went far too high. A bit further down. And move foot down. There, and then move the waves here. Look. There we are here. And at the top, I was saying that dark background. But again, don't go too dark on it. I want it dark, but not darker than the hair. So a compromise here. Yes, parts of it could go darker, especially here, so I can highlight the hair, the shine on the little parts of the hair. I'll show you now. But also not too dark, because I don't want to compromise the darkness of her hair. So now, with that darks that I've done here, Putty Rubber. With Putty Rubber, bring back the, see the light highlight on the, see here? Highlights all around her head. So, highlight, and the top of the head, there you are, and around that flicker of hair here, and just bring that shine on the water around her nose to make her nose a bit more, pointy. Okay. And the hair here. Highlight. Alright, let's spray it now. Spray it full. I would not spray it a lot. And what I mean, I would not insist with too much spray here. So just a quick one. That's it. As little as that. Bring it back. And whilst this is starting, oh, it's smelling a lot though. That's how you touch it. That part of the skin is the most sensitive one. So you do it this way. See if it's dry. It's not dry, but I can still work on it. Let's open the windows here. Smells spray. Okay. I can go a little bit darker, you see. That's what spray does. It allows you, so it fixates what you've used so far, the darks, and it allows you to bring more darks to it. And a bit of a darker point here. And darker here. On the hand itself. Quite a little bit darker than that. push that line a little bit lower because I don't want that upper arm to be way too thick. Gold cars. And a little bit darker here. Here, right here. Flesh tone, darker tonal value address. Flesh tone, darker tonal value here. Closer. Head. Also close on the head. It's possibly dry now. You can feel it. It's mostly dry. And darker here. Could get away with some more darks here. Dark on the face, and that makes a sharper jaw. Bringing down, bringing that shadow here, creates cheekbone and jaw. It highlights those things here. There you are, and then highlights the cheek. Now she's got the eyes closed, but to me she looks like her eyes are half open, which is not a bad thing really. A bit more highlight on the nose, darker shadow on the nose, darker here, ear, and then there you are. Little bit of a dress here, right there. Neck, highlight the neck a bit more. Hair could go a lot darker, especially where the light from the background appears to be this area. And a bit darker hair coming around here. Around her hand, upper arm. There you are. Darker, a bit more hair down here, and that flick of hair way darker than that. That helps. And then we want to have a continuation of those waves of hair and half tones like this one. A little highlight here that creates a nice volume strand of hair, and also a little bit here. Like, could be a little bit of value, that dark value there. I think it highlights more of the hair. I mean, not the hair, but the highlight on the hair. You see, bringing the darks here and leaving that area untouched. Well, it's not totally bright or untouched as such because I've done the shadow there, but do you see what I mean? Just bringing it right to the hairline and a little bit more darks. Make that heel a little bit higher. There you are. Creates a really, really nice atmosphere there. Give it a little bit more tonal, darker tonal value at the front. There you go. Here, a bit darker value. And this one here, her breast, thorax is moving outwards, and that goes also onto that side of her, the other side of her, the other breast. So the thorax on that side. I've given her more breast really, but don't think she does, but have it. But now there are two things. I can always come back and trim it, which could be easily done, or leave it and give her more breast. Two things. It's not as much here. And highlight this part of the thorax here. And as I said, that there is no line, so that becomes part of the background there. Forget about that line there. It doesn't exist. It just merges with the background. And could get away with something like this here. Oh, come on, Patti Rava. Now here, bit of highlight here. Sometimes, see, I've entered the flesh area. See the Patti Rava here? Just moved or deliberately broken that line. Sometimes that's done deliberately. It's more artistic. I know it's not there, but I like it. Just breaks things, you know. He creates that flair, which doesn't come that easy really. It's just years of working. That's the same thing. So as I broke with the fold, the hand, I'm also breaking the rule here. You see, bringing the fold right up to the arm, because the tonal value of the fold, it's very similar to the tonal value of the hand, of the flesh tone. And that's what I'm doing here. Go a bit darker here. And a bit darker here. There you go. Well, I think it's pretty much done really. Things that I can improve is to... Do you remember when we started, we've said that that line is not an absolute straight line, it's an inward line, inwards line. So let's bring that. Straight line there, straight line here. And a darker tone here. And also there you go. There you go. Bit of darker tone. And highlight on the dress. Although we've sprayed it, you can still do them. Yeah, it's harder, but you can still do. And here as well. See, a bit of folds here on the dress. And here as well. Look, some highlights. Right, they're not a lot because you don't want to compete with that light there. See, the light here is not as strong. It is similar, but not as strong. And even if it's the same as bright as that, so that patch is here at the same bright as that, don't do it. Now why? Because it's a secondary light, so it's deeper onto the dress. So it's a logic conclusion. That means that it needs to go darker. And flesh tone, the bone structure here. Another break of the rules I've done here. Look at that. See, I've just done that line there, which suggests the sheen of her left foot, which actually, if you see there, is not actually there. But I like that. I prefer that way. So it's a personal decision. I think it adds to the style and the flair that you have in the drawing. It adds. It's not, as I said, it's a personal thing. You decide if you would like to do it, but it just creates a bit of a, and also differentiate my work from the artist, working after the artist. Bit of Spanish artist, forgot his name. I said, yeah, I'll look it up, but I forgot. But I will look it up. I'll send it to you. And those ripples, beautiful ripples that we have here. Just go with a putty, and there you are. Right at the end, my canvas is not allowing me to go any further down, but there you are. And a little bit darker on the hand as it turns to be as it's turning inwards. Dark. Right. Well, what's the date today? It's the 19th. I think it's the 19th. Yeah. 4th. All right, so let's go and have a look, a bit closer look to that. Let's get a smaller. So go to original first. Oh, it's shining, showing my image very shiny. It's a very sunny day here today in London. And then get into the drawing. See, when you move it, as I was keeping it like this, you see how the camera distorts it? She looks short. See, so when you take pictures, please remember, if you take a picture like that, look, it distorts the whole thing. And I'm lowering. And this is at the level of the drawing. You see, that shows the correct posture, and it shows the whole drawing from the horizon, so there's no distortion to it. I've just noticed one thing. She looks like she's falling on me. Okay, now keep an eye on that. You see here that sheen. There's a slight turn outwards on that sheen, and I'm talking about this. Look, moving out. See? Now check out here. That's straight on me. Sorry, that is a straight line here. Now what we need to do is to get that movement. You see, she's looking like she's moving forward, but it looks like she's just about to move. Here, she doesn't look like she's moving. She's standing there, and she could stand there for hours if she wants. But on my particular move of the sheen, it looks like she's going to move away. So let's turn this. Exaggerate a bit more, why not? See what I mean? See the change? Just that little change, it creates a different stance, a different position, different posture, different gesture, more relaxed. These are the tiny things that you need to keep an eye on, and that will make a big difference. And this is when I say to you, oh, it's looking like she's tired or she's moving away, and these are the things you need to keep an eye on. Of course, I will point it out when you do it, but whilst you're drawing, you keep those things in mind. See? And some ripples here. Now with the putty, come on here. There you are, just a little highlight, and that makes also a whole of the difference. That shows the sun. See the sun here on the waves? I could do that and bring it, break that highlight and make it a little bit more organic, a bit more natural looking, and also more rounded. A little bit more rendered here, and a tiny highlight there. There you are. That will do. Ripples there. Okay folks, see you on the next one.